What's up, YouTube? My name is Erin, and I'm a content creator, and I'm here to share my quitting smoking cigarettes journey and where I'm at today, and what I've done, and how I have not smoked the previous 1,000 cigarettes that I would have smoked over the past 22 days. And what have I done? How have I done this? And how am I coping with not smoking? So, I'm a smoker. I started smoking when I was 14 years old. I'm 33. So, if you do the math, it's a long time. So, I have horrible asthma and bad long-term damage from smoking. So, I smoked about 18 years, 18 to 19 years. I would say that I started regularly smoking at 15, so around 18 years. I was a heavy smoker, up to 2 packs a day. Some days a little bit more, some days a little bit less. I would say on average about 2 packs. I was a very heavy smoker. And I was born with asthma. I was treated for asthma as a child growing up before I ever smoked. Picking up cigarettes was probably the worst thing that I ever could have done for my health. But it was in the early 2000s. It was taboo then, but there wasn't vapes, there wasn't those options. So, I did it socially. I did it because it was cool or rebellious. I don't know how to describe it. I felt that it helped establish my own adult identity as a younger teenager. And, I think I did it to show off to friends, or honestly just because I enjoyed it from a young age, to be completely honest with you. There are many reasons that I chose to smoke. But with that being said, there is many reasons I'm choosing to stay quit. And how did I quit? Well, I'm going to just go over some of my journey. I am 22 days off cigarettes as of this morning. If you can hear, I'm outside. It's early. The morning birds are chirping. And I have nicotine lozenges. These ones are from Walgreens. They're 4 milligram lozenges. I have bought nicotine lozenges from CVS, from Walmart, and from Walgreens. They all vary in prices. If you go to CVS, the CVS brand, the 4 milligram nicotine lozenges, there's 108 per box. So there's 4. They're smaller tablets than these. These are the Walgreens. There's 24 lozenges, and they come in a pack of 3 at Walgreens. And at CVS, they come 27 lozenges, 4 boxes, or 4 vials rather, 108 lozenges. I can't remember the Walmart brand. It's an Equate brand, obviously, but I didn't buy any larger packs. I think I just did there to grab like a single pack of them, and it was just to hold me over. I did try the gum and the nicotine replacement gum. I didn't have as much luck with it as the lozenge. I do think that the lozenge, you're able to have it in your mouth, so it allows you to kind of suck on it or allow it to dissolve sublingually under your tongue or on your cheeks, and I kind of alternate it. I don't have that hand to mouth motion, but there is like almost like straw or something. It's like a oral fixation that I get out of these lozenges. So they take about 20 to 30 minutes to dissolve in your mouth. These are large. The ones from CVS are much smaller. They're the micro lozenges. They're all 4 milligrams. I think that's the starting dose. I think that it's really hard to find them in 2 milligrams. The only place I've seen 2 milligram lozenge is at Walgreens and at Walmart. But I'm still early in my quitting journey, and I'm just here to share what I've done to quit smoking. And I found that these few things have helped me, and one of the biggest things that's helped, besides the nicotine replacement therapy, is definitely, believe it or not, caffeine. And I used to drink a lot of energy drinks and coffee when I smoked cigarettes. I would smoke cigarettes with my morning coffee or my morning caffeine. I love these Red Bulls. I drink the sugar-free Red Bulls, and I drink more caffeine now that I've quit before than when I was smoking. I did drink quite a bit of caffeine prior to quitting, but since I've gotten off of the cigarettes, I think that I'm just getting less nicotine from the lozenges, because I was a very heavy smoker, and these lozenges, if you don't chew them, it's kind of like they're in your mouth for a while. It's easy to chew them, and you get less effect if you chew them, so I don't recommend chewing them. It's kind of fun to chew them. I mean, it's just like that oral fixation. That's still there, and I'm hoping to cut back on the lozenges. So there's a tapering guide. I think it's like 1 to 6 weeks. You do a lozenge every hour, or every 1 to 2 hours, and then like I think it's week 7 to 12 or 7 to 9. I don't remember which. You do it like every 2 hours. You'll have one every 2 to 3 hours, and you slowly taper off. They recommend, I think, a 12 to 16 weeks, but I may use them longer. I may use them less. I find myself using less lozenges as I'm moving along my quit journey. The first thing I noticed, I was fully ready. I have asthma, so one of the things, I've also had COVID 3 times, and that affected my lungs. And quitting was something that I kind of felt I had to do. I was getting up every morning, having to use my inhaler, or when it was really bad, nebulizing and using an inhaler. Just, it was making me having to wake up every single morning early, like 6:30, sometimes earlier, just to puff my inhaler so I could lay back down, because I felt like I was suffocating laying in bed. I had to elevate my head a lot to stay able to sleep in the morning, because I was having so much difficulty breathing. I know I'm asthmatic, and I know I've had COVID multiple times, and I'm sure that affects, how bad my breathing issues were, and I'm sure everyone has different experiences with different smoking levels. People that smoke less than 10 cigarettes a day probably don't have the extent of lung damage that I've done to myself, and I've done a lot of research, and it's going to take me, several years before my lungs and my cilia and my lungs are healing properly. 9 to 12 months before the cilia and my lungs, it helps move oxygen and absorb oxygen to heal. I've noticed I'm expectorating a lot of the phlegm, and I noticed the first 2 weeks it was quite dark. Some of the mucus I would spit out was I'm getting that tar out of my lungs, and my body is detoxing itself of all the other chemicals besides nicotine that I'm not getting in the lozenges. So, I feel a lot better. And one of the interesting things is I noticed within a few days my sense of taste was a lot different. I used to drink a lot of these Red Bulls, and I didn't have one for the first few days. I think I was drinking just coffee for my caffeine, and when I had my first Red Bull after I quit for 2 or 3 days, I was like, wow, this tastes really different. And actually some food products that I liked previous to me quitting, I really liked, and after I quit and was really able to taste it, my palate has changed. So with that being said, I can taste food more, I can taste drinks more. I can smell my parents. I live with my mom and dad, and they are both senior citizens. I live with them because I help caretake my father. He's a terminally ill smoker, and I quit for myself, but also I didn't want to tell my mom and dad, hey, you guys shouldn't be smoking while I'm there puffing along. That's very hypocritical, and I wanted to incentivize them, or just be a positive role model in their lives. And I think that quitting for myself is I'm doing it for myself. And I think for me, at least, for me to quit as a smoker that smokes as bad as I did, I have to want to quit. And if you don't want to quit, I think every smoker wants to quit, but you really, really, really have to be adamant and proactive about wanting to quit, because without that drive, I think it's probably damn near impossible. I'm a recovered alcoholic and drug addict, and this is a lot harder. It's more, I have to be more proactive at quitting cigarettes than I had to be proactive at quitting my oxycodone habit or my alcohol habit. And it's actually harder to quit cigarettes without that drive than it is to quit hard drugs. And cigarette is a drug. and they're bad for you. They're terrible. Honestly, they could have been worse for me than the oxycodone habit I had. And those are horrible. But the withdrawals are not as bad as pain medication or alcohol, but it's a different withdrawal. And every medicine or every substance that someone's addicted to, the withdrawals are different. With that being said, I'm not going to be talking about my recovery from drug and alcohol. That is for a different discussion. This is focusing on cigarettes. I was tired of waking up every morning just gasping for air. And my mom and dad would hear me, across the hall coughing in my room so loud I'd wake them up every morning. So I just got up and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to put them down. And I picked up some lozenges. My dad had a few bottles that he had tried using, and he gifted those to me. And after a few days of committing to it, I was like, all right, I'm going to go out and spend the $45 for the 4 vials, the 4 bottles at CVS brand. And I did that. They're about $42.99 for 108 lozenges. And those were great. And I've been trying, I stated earlier, I've gotten them from Walgreens, I've gotten them from Walmart, I've got them mainly from CVS. I'm trying it. My favorite is the cinnamon flavor. There's a mint flavor, there's a cherry flavor, there's a fruit flavor, and there's a cinnamon flavor. Those are the 4 main flavors. I like the cinnamon. I never had any luck with the patches, and the gum just kind of loses its flavor so quick. The lozenge, it lasts a long time. The flavor lasts, and I like the cinnamon flavor. I noticed it actually goes well with my coffee. It goes well with a lot of things, and it doesn't taste bad. So I use lozenges. I actually use them a little bit more than the bottle says. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 lozenges in 90 minutes. Whatever it takes for me to not smoke, I'm going to not smoke. It's very hard, and I would say the first 2 weeks my mood was poor, very poor quality mood. It's just, it made me very agitated, very cranky. I'm still irritable, not being able to come out here and do this, but I've broken the habit. And now that I've broken the habit, it is a lot easier to refrain from smoking, and it's a lot less effort on my part 3 weeks into quitting as it was the first week. I would say after your first week of quitting, it's a lot more easy to manage your quit and staying quit. And at 3 weeks, I'm at 22 days today, a little over 3 weeks. It doesn't require as much effort. It's just one of the things that I found is a mind over matter thing. If I start thinking about smoking, I change that thought. I don't think about smoking. I know I'm talking about it, but I'm not thinking about doing this at all anymore. That's completely gone from my mind, and it goes away quickly. You'd be surprised how easy it is when you want to quit, and I can't emphasize enough, you have to want to quit or you'll never quit. I've tried to quit so many times. I actually did have one successful quit. I have Meniere's disease. I was diagnosed with the vestibular disorder in 2014, and it was terrible when I first got diagnosed. And I did quit for about a year and a half, and I quit with the lozenges. Unfortunately, in 2015, I went back to smoking, and now it's 2023, and I just quit 3 weeks ago. So anyhow, you can quit. A smoker like myself that could smoke 2.5 packs a day some days, I just chain smoked. I could get up and literally chain smoke almost a whole pack of cigarettes within 2.5 hours. Like, no problem. I mean, I was just such a bad smoker. It's possible, and what's great is I can taste now, I can smell better. I'm more perceptive of when other people are smoking. When my parents smoked, I could smell the cigarettes on them even when they come in. My mom, who was a much lighter smoker than me, I noticed, it seems like she smokes a lot more than when I was smoking, because I'm a lot more perceptive of other people smoking now that I'm not smoking. And my dad is a heavier smoker than my mom, but was a lighter smoker than me. He smoked at least a pack a day, but I smoked double that. And it is possible, staying with the lozenge and using as many lozenges that, don't get yourself sick with them, obviously, but, whatever it takes for you to take the edge off. I would say after the first 7 to 10 days, once you've overcome that, that's the hardest part of your quit. And at least for me, for my quit journey, after about 10 days, it became a little bit more natural. And every day, I mean, I do have some times where I wish that, pardon my allergies, some days that I wish that I could light one up, but it's very short lived. And I change my thought, and then before you know it, that desire has left, and I'm on to my next thing. I'm not even thinking about it. So I've learned, don't think about it. If it pops in my head, think about something else. So put a lozenge in my mouth. I drink a lot more caffeine now. I drink many cups of coffee, 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day. I use a Keurig press, and I actually picked a smaller cup size, the 8 ounce, as opposed to a larger cup size, because I am drinking a lot more caffeine. Pardon me, I'm outside and cars are going by. But anyhow, it is possible. The lozenge helps great. Attitude is everything with this. If you don't have the attitude to quit, you're not going to quit. The other thing is sticking to your decision. Think about the reasons you want to quit. For me, it was my health, and also to be a positive role model for my senior citizen parents, who I really hope that they're able to quit smoking, because I know it will improve the length of their life. And it's never too late to quit. Even if you know you're not going to live another 3 years, and you think, well, what's the point? You'd be surprised if you just give it up for a couple weeks. You'll feel a lot better. My lungs, my breathing is so much better. Sorry, I've got terrible allergies. It's turning into cool fall, and I live in Atlanta, and it's starting to get the first few cold days, and my allergies are just making my nose a little itchy. But anyhow, yes, it's very doable. If a smoker like me can quit, I know that you can quit. It's not impossible. It may seem impossible, and I would really say like the first 3 to 5 days are makes it feel the most impossible. But my breathing is better. I'm not using my inhaler every morning. I'm not using my inhaler most mornings. I do get up and need it, and it may take me several years before my lungs are truly healed, but I notice a great improvement in my breathing and just how I feel. I feel more energetic. And as I was saying, that my breathing is better. It's just all around, it's so much better. I feel so much better. And I know that as time goes on, I'll feel better and more comfortable in my quitting journey. For me, just drinking more coffee, doing different things to keep my mind stimulated. So stimulating my mind has been helpful. Another thing that I'd like to note is I am taking bupropion, which is it's Wellbutrin. Wellbutrin, I'm prescribed it for my depression, but a lot of psychiatrists or even general practitioners will prescribe it, and it helps with people quitting smoking. I don't really know how that works. I know it's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, an SSRI antidepressant. I don't really know how that works. I'm not a doctor. Please talk to your doctor. But from my experience, that the Wellbutrin, I guess, has made it easier for me. I just kind of put it down, and because I had the desire, I put them down September 17th, and today I think is October 9th or 10th. I think it's the 9th, and I just have no desire to smoke, and it's great. I feel wonderful. I hope that this will have a spillover effect onto my mom and dad, but no expectations for anyone else to quit. But as I was saying, even if you're a senior citizen, you've got health issues, you may have cancer, and you're like, well, what's the point of me quitting? You'd be surprised just how much better you feel in just a few weeks. Give yourself the chance. Try. Give it a chance if you want to quit. Like I stated, every smoker wants to quit. No one wants to be addicted to smoking. It's a nasty habit. It's filled with carcinogens. But if you're able to get the feeling to quit, that you really, really, really are adamant, and you're like, I just don't want to do it. Once you don't want to do it, it's easy. It's not bad. It's really not bad. My mood, I was very cranky for the first 2 weeks, even still getting still cranky because I'm still early in my quit, not even in a month yet, but I wanted to share at just over 3 weeks how I'm feeling, how doable it is, and how surprised I am how much easier it is than I ever expected it to be. I'm going to wrap this video up shortly. It's almost 20 minutes in, but I just wanted to state things that helped me were drinking more coffee, I did eat a little bit more, but surprisingly my food cravings kind of cut off around the 2 week mark. I noticed an increase in appetite for the first couple weeks, and it's already dying off. And I was worried about weight gain because I recently, over the past 2 years, had lost about 50 pounds, and I had been pretty overweight and lost some weight, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna put this weight back on. And the increased food craving only lasted for a week or two for me, and now I'm back to eating, what I was when I was smoking, and I have no real increased appetite at this point. I do suppress it a little bit with extra caffeine. I used to have maybe 3 cups a day. Now I have 4 or 5, but I just have smaller cups because I am drinking more caffeine, and I don't want to be super jittery. But if it helps me get off the cigarettes, I'm willing to drink a little more coffee. I mean, it's a better trade-off, and I'm sure that as time goes on, I will drink less coffee. And nicotine is a stimulant, and so is caffeine. And I'm sure that the caffeine I'm used to being overstimulated with smoking so much, and now that I'm not smoking, the caffeine has given me a nice little extra boost when I need it. But just, I did find myself eating a little bit more. That food, that hand-to-mouth, the food gives you that hand-to-mouth action, and before you know it, you'll forget about that altogether. So I'm enjoying my quitting. I feel better. I'm breathing better. I'm not using my inhalers as much. I'm not nebulized at all since I quit, but maybe once the first week. It's wonderful. You can do it. You can. And if you don't think you can, I smoke 2 to 3 packs a day, sometimes 3 packs a day, and I'm not smoking. So talk to your primary care doctor, and if you can't even afford a doctor, if you're in I don't know, what part of the world you're in, or if you're able to afford health care or not, but even if you're not able to afford health care, these lozenges, the money that I spent smoking, I spend about $40 a week on lozenges. I spend about $120 a week on cigarettes. So it's cheaper to use the lozenges. So if you can afford your cigarettes and you quit spending the money on them and buy lozenges with them, or whatever form of nicotine replacement therapy you prefer. Some people, I'm sure, prefer patches. Some people may prefer the gum. Those alternatives aren't as good as the lozenges are for me, but everyone's different. So try different products. The nicotine replacement therapy, just give it a shot. Just give quitting a shot. It's really worth it, I promise you, and you can do it. And please leave a comment and subscribe, and I hope that you can follow me on my journey, and I will try to update YouTube, my channel, maybe once a week from here on for the foreseeable future, and I'll keep you all updated on my quitting journey and how this goes. I'm very proud of myself, and I feel good, as I've said many times, and it's a great choice. I hope this is helpful. Please give me a like. I really appreciate it. It helps me so much, and I look forward to talking to you all next week. Bye, everybody.